This is the Heidelberger Allstate Insurance Agency pregame show. We're here in Ray Skillman Stadium. We're just in a few hours. We're going to have a homecoming festivity full of action, but most importantly, a homecoming football game against the Pike Red Devils coach. And it's going to be great to be back in our stadium. The two crowds we've had this year have been full, well over 7,000 people. It's homecoming, very festive. Your thoughts?
Well, it's great to be home and play our homecoming game, my 23rd homecoming game actually here at Center Grove. It's always fun to watch the kids, and then all the week long, the Powder Puff game was great Monday night, which this guy here put together and Nicole Delt put together. A great job with that, and the student activity in the building has been awesome this week, a lot of spirit. But the biggest thing I have to look forward to on the homecoming is the homecoming parade when at least one class makes fun of me, and I'm not as fat as I was last year, so they can't make fun of me and put a big fat guy on the float when it drives by. But I do enjoy watching all the classes get together and compete for things, and the teachers actually this year, and it's just fun to get everybody back here and get a big crowd rolling and rocking and rolling here for homecoming against Pike.
These last 3 weeks have been challenging from the standpoint when you're going into the games, the teams you've been playing don't have great records, and that's going to be the case tonight with Pike. They have not got a victory yet this season, but they are athletic. Their coach has tremendous experience. He's had success in all different levels. Came over recently a few years ago from Zionsville. What do you look for him to try to expose on you tonight?
Well, it's just like anybody with all the great athletes and speed they have. They can beat you or tie you in one play. It happened to us one time here. They're as good an undefeated or non-win team as I've ever seen. We look at the tape, and when they look like they're 4-2 or something like that, maybe they tend to beat themselves, and we hope that we can provide them some experience of making some mistakes and force some turnovers. That's going to be huge. But they have great athletes. And they have a big running back and fast skill kids, and as you saw last year, they got up on us 14-7, the only team to do that in the first quarter. This is going to be a game of will. They've been in every football game they've played. They had Warren Central in the fourth quarter. Everybody they've played, it's not been a blowout. They haven't had a 35 point running clock on them. So because they're able just to score from anywhere on the field with that great offense they have and the great skill kids. But we're going to have to get physical and be tough with their defense and make their defense come and prove that they can stop us.
We heard you last night on the JMV show, and you were talking about this year's team, and they have a chance to do some things that's, quite frankly, not only not been done here at Center Grove, but not done in 6A football ever before. And the phrase that you had was that team, and it's kind of it's their choice. Which team do they want to be? Can you explain that a little bit further?
Yeah, it comes to this point of the year, and you've won 20 straight games, and things are rolling, but kids are starting to get injured, and then the boredom, a little bit of boredom sets in. It's a long season, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and practice after practice, and I know the game's Friday. It's easy to get up for that, but you got to push through, and you got to keep focus. And these kids, they're just 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and you got to make sure they understand the ramifications of 10 years down the road when you could have been that team. And a lot of them have brothers that played on that team that was undefeated, or played on the 2015 team that team was undefeated as well. So you got to make sure that, hey, what do you want your legacy to be? We showed them a clip of Deion Sanders, not a huge Deion Sanders fan as far as character, but I personally understand his background because I was in Fort Myers when he was there, and how hard he worked as an athlete. And you've probably seen it on YouTube. He talks about, of practice. What does practice mean? Perfect practice to be the greatest. And we showed that before one of our practices this week, just trying to make the kids understand no matter what your opponent is, it's important to have a great practice every day. Like I've said for the last 2 years, our opponents have no face. CG is going to beat CG if that happens. We got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, while we're on Pike, and we've been doing some storytelling the last few years, decided to take one that just happened about 365 days ago, and that was our travel to Pike last year. It was COVID, a lot of crazy stuff going on, and our kicking coach, Coach Jarrett, wasn't feeling too well, as you might remember, and it got to the point where, they decided to call, the paramedics in, and they were going to take him to the hospital, and we're getting ready to play a game, and much like you do, you try to keep people calm and not make fun of the situation, but calm the situation. And you told him what people didn't realize is that was one of our COVID protocols, where we actually didn't have our all-state kicker, It was the first time that was happening, and Coach was a little nervous, and you told him, hey, it's all good. You don't have to have a heart attack over this. And lo and behold, poor Mr. Foley, who's doing a great job for us this year, kicks off to open the game, had a couple mishaps with one of our players, and next thing you know, Pike returns the kick for a kickoff, and I think the phrase was, Coach said, I'm going to have a heart attack.
I looked down there and saw the ambulances running for him. I'm like, I may just walk down there and get in. We kicked the ball back, and then Coach Siderwitz in the top box. I said, well, Joe, it's not been 11 seconds left, and we're already behind. It's not very good tonight.
It's one of those situations that last year was obviously a special year, much like this year, but not had a lot of touchdowns scored on us. Certainly never been out where we were under the score, so to speak, at that early of a game. It was quite something, but we responded pretty well and ended up winning big. It was a great night, and Coach Jarrett ended up being just fine. Just decided to eat a little bit too much nicotine gum, I think.
Probably so. We love him. Our guys do a good job, and that same kicker is back for us tomorrow night, and we're just hoping he don't kick it to the same guy, or we do a little bit better job covering. Our special teams have been awesome this year. We made some adjustments as we go, like you have to and everything, but we just hope that everybody can come out tomorrow night. Homecoming 2021. Come and see your number one ranked, undefeated, national ranked 8th in the nation, Center Grove Trojans play versus Pike. Go Trojans.